Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your hosts, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. And it's been a while, and Baruch Hashem, we're back after Pesach. And tonight we will be discussing mindful moments, finding peace in the present moment. To be able to find some peace in the present moment, a little bit about mindfulness. And tonight is episode number 72. And to listen to the recordings from the past episodes, they're available menachembernfeld.com. On the top left, you can get all the recordings if you need to catch up and be with us on this journey. So before we start, we have to thank our sponsor, and that's OK Clarity. OKClarity.com is a place to find a top-notch therapist, coach, nutritionist. Their professionals are vetted and have extensive experience working with the Jewish community. If you're in the market of a therapist, coach, or the like, or if you are a wellness professional looking to get more online exposure, go check them out. They also have a WhatsApp status, which you can join. The number is 917-426-1495, 917-426-1495. And just by following their status, you'll feel the change with all your mental health needs. So join them. So before we start, just to reflect, to come into the room, to see how you feel, where you are. It's been a few weeks since before Pesach, and Baruch Hashem, we're here. Everybody with their own experience, whatever it was. But I hope you're all healthy and calm, at least now, hopefully. And everybody has a different experience. Even going back to routine. Some people are they can't wait, they want to get back to routine. And for some people, they don't want to get back to routine. The truth is, there are always people on both sides or in between. People would love to get back to routine, and people just dread it. They love Bein Hazmanim, they love Yom Tov, or they love maybe all the ups and downs, to be busy the whole time, and they just can't get back to their regular daily routine. So what's important is to be aware and to be able to ask yourself, where am I? What do I feel? How do I feel? Maybe there are certain things I do want to get back to, some things I don't. Maybe I want to change certain things. So that's the first question. How am I feeling? And to see what took me through these past few weeks with Pesach, whether it's Bein Hazmanim, with the kids around, or maybe not. What self-care ideas did you use or you didn't? Just to become aware. Are you stopping every day for a few minutes to take some deep breaths? Journaling, being aware of what's going on around you. That's always step number one for anything, just to be aware. And for many people, they had a beautiful Yom Tov. Everything worked out. It was amazing. They loved it. Whatever it was. And for some people, it wasn't so easy. And speaking to people, I've become aware of all different types, and you can think of one way, but everybody has their own experience and their own thoughts, dilemmas. And again, it's important for you to know, where am I? How am I feeling? So what does it mean, mindfulness? To be mindful in the present moment, in the now, to be able to find peace in the present. So usually when somebody's anxious, nervous. It's usually thoughts of the past, something that happened, or they're worried, anxious about the future. It's usually not about something in the moment, in the present moment, where I am now. Now, I don't know where you are, but you're listening to me. And there's nothing much going on, I believe, except if there's a lot of noise, or maybe you're driving. But in the here, in the now, this is where you are. So that's being present. It's being in the moment. And why it's important. It's really the mind. Being present in the moment refers to the act of focusing one attention in the present moment. A lot of people, you'll ask them, where are you? You're here, yeah, I'm here. Where should I be? But it doesn't depend where your body is, really is where your mind is. Where are you focusing your attention? And to be able to focus your attention without distractions or different things to come up that they don't let you be in the now. Being able to be fully engaged in the full experience. And that takes us to our five senses, to feel the sensations in the present moment, the sights that we see, the sounds, smells, or the way you feel, where you are. And it really slows you down if you can just stop and think, do I hear any noise? You might hear the birds chirping, or maybe there's noise outside, cars beeping. It brings you to the present moment of what's going on. And by connecting to your five senses, it helps you be there. So I know that a lot of people that are mindful, their mind is full with different thoughts, worries, anxious, but that's not the type of mindful we're discussing. What we're discussing is to be able to focus on one thing. And if you focus on one thing, what happens is slowly everything else quiets down. To be able to consciously decide, I want to focus on the now. Where am I now? What am I feeling now? So that's being mindful in the present moment in the now. Most of you know the famous Rambam, that a person is where his thoughts are. It doesn't depend where your body is, it's really your thoughts. He says it regarding Yom Kippur, we say Baruch Shem Kavod Machnisoi loud, like Malachim. But the question is, Matzah Yom Kippur, after a full day of fasting, we say it quietly by Mariv. After a full day of fasting, we say it quietly. Erev Yom Kippur, we say it loud. But Erev Yom Kippur, it should be just the opposite. Erev Yom Kippur, we're just ate. We're full. So we're not Malachim yet. We should say it quietly. And Matzah Yom Kippur, after a full day of fasting, that's when we should say it loud. We're like a Malach, we're clean, we didn't eat the whole day. So what he says is it depends where your mind is. Erev Yom Kippur, after a full day of eating, you're not thinking about food. You're not hungry. You're in shul. Your stomach is full. You're good to go. Your thoughts are not with food. So that's thoughts like a malach. Now let's think about Matzah Yom Kippur. You're right, it's a full day of fasting, clean. However, many of our thoughts, are, we want to go eat. We're hungry. So our thoughts are with food. So that's not thoughts of malachim. So that's when we say it quiet. Another example is the famous mashal of a person walking down the street and in the middle of the field, somebody knocking on his chest, and he's wondering what's going on. And he realizes that he's in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, which could happen. And again, it's work, to be mindful. It's very important for davening, to be able to focus on the words that you're saying. It takes time. Can't expect to have the whole Shemoneh Esrei at once. You start with one word, 2 words, 1 bracha. So that's really realizing where are my thoughts. And also scientifically, doing imagery, which we've discussed in the past, to imagine something is like you're there. It's actually like you're actually doing it. They did a study of people going skiing. In the summer, they wanted to practice. So even in bed, laying in bed, doing imagery of skiing, imagining everything is, it's cold, ice, full of snow, and you're going down the path, jumps, whatever you need to do. And they found those who did imagery, guided imagery, imagine you're there, they perform much better. So it's actually where your mind is, that's where you are. To be able to focus your mind on one thing, be mindful. So again, being anxious usually comes from a thought of what's going to be. You're not there now. Where you are now is probably okay, but what are you going to do when you go to that meeting? What are you going to say? What's it going to look like? So you're worried about the future. Now, that doesn't mean that planning for the future is not good. Planning for the future is, again, you're consciously deciding, let me think of what I can do when I go to that meeting. So you consciously decided, I want to think about the meeting, which is beautiful. So you're imagining the meeting, what people are going to say, what are you going to say, what do they want from you, which is amazing. That could be mindful also. But to sit here in the now and think about things that you don't want to think about, and your mind is racing all over the place, that's being mindless. Your mind is full of a lot of things going on, but you're not mindful. So some of the benefits, first of all, stress and anxiety. You practice mindfulness every day for a few minutes. You will feel, eventually you'll feel slowly slowing down, a difference in your stress and anxiety. It helps to increase your emotional regulation, to become more resilient, to see what's happening, what you do like, what you don't like, why you don't like it. You don't get lost. You don't have to react. You're mindful. Where am I? What am I feeling? Why am I getting all anxious now? You become more self-aware and more empathy for yourself. So the question is, so what can you practice? What are some ideas? So just to start, focus on your breath. Like I always mention, take 5 minutes, shut your phone, and sit in a place where you won't be distracted. And just sit there. But sitting there and doing nothing can be hard. So focus on your breathing. Just feel the air going in and going out. Start with a minute if it's too hard. Then you build up 2, 3, and slowly you feel your body slowing down. Deep breathing. Take a deep breath. Even that first deep breath, you'll feel a little bit relaxed. But don't stop with 1. Do 10. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Count till 6. Sometimes it's hard when you're running around and your breathing is shallow. It might take time till you can take a breath all the way in 6 seconds and out 6 seconds. But again, it takes practice, but it's possible. So that's deep breathing. Some people do yoga or just doing nothing. If it's possible, you become aware of what your body feels. Any sensations, which we do over here many times when we start, just become aware of your body sensations, your finger tingling, your foot hurts, your back hurts, or it doesn't, whatever comes up, just become aware of it. After practicing a few times, mindfulness, after feeling that relaxation, being in the moment, coming into the room, being in the here and the now, then you'll be able to do it in a split second. All you have to do is ask yourself, where am I? And then you stop and you take a deep breath. You become aware of where you are. There could be so much going on. Think about Erev Yom Tov. And there's so much, everybody coming, going, things are working out, things are not, and you can't think straight. All you have to say is, where am I? And you realize, wait, there's a lot going on. It doesn't mean you should stop, but just become aware of, whoa, what are the triggers? Why do I feel this way? Take a deep breath and continue. But that means you were mindful. You actually came back. Came back from where? I don't know. Everybody's in a different place. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? But it's only after practice, you know what you're looking for. First, I would say start with 5 minutes, do deep breathing, focus on the breath, whatever it is, just to find that relaxation, to be in the moment, so that when you need it, you don't have to spend 5 minutes, you can get it right away. So I want to end with a guided meditation, mindfulness meditation. But before we go to the guided meditation, if there are any questions, I can open it up. You can raise your hand, open up to ask, or you can put it in the chat before we continue. And we can answer your personal question. And then we'll end with a guided mindfulness meditation. Would you like to ask a question? No. Here, just one more second. Okay, here's a good question. I'm going through a real challenge in my life. It's hard to be mindful. I am constantly nervous and anxious. Yes, this is the question, the $1 million question. When you're going through something, you're actually nervous about something, it could be hard to sit down and relax. It could be hard to be mindful, like what we're discussing. So the first thing is, yes, it is hard. And if you can start, again, maybe not you because you're in a hard situation, but so that's why it's important to do it every day and not wait. Don't wait till we're overwhelmed, till we're anxious, because then it's much harder. When things are relaxed, practice mindfulness. Take a few minutes off, come back into the room, and be with yourself. But even if you are going through a challenge, to start to do the act, even though it might not work fully, but to stop, find some time where you can just be, where you're not distracted. And by being mindful, it's going to help you in your situation. Number one, it helps you to accept a little bit by changing your perspective. Because again, there's so much going on, there's so many thoughts, so many worries. What's going to happen? What am I going to do? How is it going to work out? But if you can slowly come back in the here and the now, you could realize it didn't happen yet. Or yes, things have happened, but there are some positives. There are some positives I can feel grateful for, which is, again, it's hard because you're focused on the negative, on what's not working out. But if you stop for a moment, even though it's hard, you can slowly find small things to be grateful for. You can slowly see how you can change a thought, to see that the way you're looking at it maybe is not 100% true, change your perspective. Or you can just have a little bit of compassion for yourself while you're going through this challenge. So even though it is hard, yes, but to be able to do it slowly, it helps. And if you do it every day, it's going to become easier by slowly feeling grateful for what's going on. The example that I give is in the hospital, you're in the big room, and there is food. Nobody wants to be there. But you have some hot soup. It's hard to see it, hard to feel it, because who knows what you're going through? Who knows, you're there with a relative or whatever. But to find, you can always find some positives. But the only way you're going to see the positive, the only way you're going to feel it, the only way you can change perspective is by stopping and slowing down. So even though it's hard, try, do yourself a favor for a few minutes, do some breathing, relax. Journaling might help. Take a pen, write down what's going through in your mind. You can write all the negatives, all the worries that you go through. And be there for a minute, just be there. Nothing is changing, but you're there, relaxed, a little bit more. Okay, so let's do the guided, it's a short guided meditation. Join me just for 3 minutes and let's see where it takes you. So here we go. Find a comfortable seat. Make yourself comfortable. Whether you're sitting or you're laying in your bed. Rest your hands on your stomach or on your lap. And gently close your eyes if you're not driving. If you can close your eyes and relax. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale slowly through your mouth. Take a few more deep breaths in through your nose. And slowly out through your mouth. And another one. Just feel your body relaxing with each exhale. In and out. Beautiful. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the breath moving in and out of your body. You don't need to change your breath. Just observe it. Whenever your mind starts to wander, starts thinking different things, gently bring it back to your breath. Feel the breath in and out. You might find it helpful to mentally note breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice any physical sensations in your body, such as tension or discomfort, without judgment. Simply observe these sensations and allow them to be. As you continue to breathe mindfully, notice any thoughts or emotions that arise. Again, without judgment, just observe these thoughts and emotions as they come and go. Whenever you feel ready, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly through your mouth. If you want to stay here, if you're listening to the recording, you can pause and just continue as long as you want. But for now, take a deep breath and gently open your eyes and take a moment just to notice how you feel. Any sensations, any thoughts, whatever it is, just become aware. So that's it. That's this short guided meditation. It helps you come back into the here, into the now, where you are now, just to focus on your breath. And your breath is actually happening now. What the breathing yesterday, you don't have to think about, and tomorrow's, you don't have to think about. All you are is putting your attention, your thought on your breath, which happens in the moment, and that's mindful, being mindful. Being in the now and being able to consciously focus your attention. And that's about it. It could be very simple. There are people who have a hard time. They sit down to start and they're jumping. Their thoughts, they need to finish so many things. There's so much going on. And I've come across people who they need that stimulation. I don't want to calm down my mind. I'm scared. I feel so boring. I get scared from that quiet, nothing going on. I need that constant phone calls and people talking to me and back and forth and maybe some chaos and overwhelm. I need it. Just become aware of that. There are some people who need that constant stimulation. So for them, it is harder to sit down and take it easy. But I always say, do it for your spouse, do it for your kids, do it for the people around you. And even at work, do it for those people that you work with. And eventually you'll realize that you also need it, but it might take more time just to become more conscious, being able to focus your attention, and not let your mind wander. Thank you very much. That's it for tonight. If you liked it, you can listen to the recording or just do it yourself. Find some quiet time where you just breathe for 2 minutes. Some people love it, and for some people it's a challenge. Try it and build on it till you get better and better at it. So that way in the grocery and there's a line and you're all frustrated, you can just stop and say, hey, take a deep breath, where am I? And then you're mindful. And a lot of things change. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week in Mitzvah Hashem on Wednesday night. For the recordings, again, they're available at menachembernfeld.com. Any questions or anything that comes up while you're on the journey, while you're doing some meditation, some mindfulness, you're not sure if you're doing it right, things come up, send me an email, coachmenachem@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions. I'll see you next week. Have a good night and a great week.